Hi kittens, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat and this is Kat Talks, the place where I talk about books and writing. Today I'm going to be talking about why I do not finish DNF, close the book, before the story is over. As you might know, about a month ago I finished reading a book that made me fume with anger. It was so bad. The writing style was really good, the story was engaging, but the unrepentant sexism and sexual violence against both men and women, it made me want to spontaneously combust. Yet I kept reading. I kept reading because I had this unrepentant optimism and hope that it would get better, that the problems of the society would be addressed in some way through the narrative, and that the main character would learn through his journey. He did not. You can listen to more about that up in the cards up there, but this video is not about that. However, that experience did get me thinking, why would people close the book before the story finishes? What makes you say, okay, all right, I can close this book? So I asked a couple of my friends here on booktube to do videos on why they DNF. You can check them out here. They are Ashley, What Everyone Else Is Reading, Zach Tries to Read, and Kristen Reads. You can definitely go and check them out. They're all channels that I really enjoy watching, and I hope that you will too, and they are linked down in the description below. But this one is mine, so what makes me close the book if I would read that? You know, if I can finish that one, what makes me DNF a book? Actually, I find it really hard to DNF or cannot finish, do not finish, whatever you want to say, a book. I have this kind of like thing inside me that once I've started a book, or even once I've taken out of the library, it feels like a challenge. It feels like I want to finish it so bad. But alas, you cannot finish every book that you start because some of them are just that bad. And I've gotten a little bit better at DNFing books as I've gotten older. I've recognised that I don't have all the time in the world to finish all of the books that exist. Hopefully I will. I don't think I've said this on the channel, but I actually have the suspicion that after you die, you just go to a great library in the sky where one copy of every single book is at all times, which would be amazing. In fact, more than one copy actually, but yes, we digress. What makes me close a book? Don't forget to stomp that subscribe button, just like Elizabeth stomps Darcy's first proposal, to see more of me. Alright, so the first reason is that it's just plain boring. I know, right, that one's super obvious, but if there is nothing happening in the book, like nothing at all, no characters that I can get behind, no action sequence, I'm not going to read further. And this also includes things where it's just world building, or it's just showing me what the world is like, or telling me what the character has done today. I'm not interested, to be honest. I remember there was a particular book that I read as a child that I DNF'd for this reason. I cannot remember for the life of me what the name was, but it was essentially this group of children running away and being self-sustaining, which sounds really good, but then they just walked for hours and talked about how they missed their parents for chapters. And same with the Lord of the Rings book 2. I could not finish. I know I'm not a nerd because I haven't finished the Lord of the Rings, because book 2, honestly, all of the names are the same name with one letter removed. No. And B, it's just boring. I get to the end of book 3, I guess, or halfway through book 2 anyway, and I start reading the Frodo adventures in Frodo Land. I'm just like, no. I'm good. I'm good without, I guess, hikes. Hikes are the reason that I DNF books. Tying onto that, the second reason that I DNF is dual viewpoints. Now, I know, this can be done really well. I have just read A Curse So Dark and Lonely, where this was done really well. The viewpoints alternated per chapter, and they were really engaging. But that's because Kemera is a good author. She has written books before. A lot of authors, when they do dual viewpoints, will overly rely on kind of like rehashing the same events from a different viewpoint, so that we have to live through the same argument about 5 times because we're still in the middle of it every time the scene, you know, it's just not worth it, guys. When I have to reread the same thing about 4 times, like, so-and-so said this, so-and-so said this, so-and-so, I'm done. I'm already done. I'm over it. However, if you have any good recommendations for books that manage to swap those viewpoints, link them down below, because I'm really interested to see examples of where this is done well. Like I said, A Curse So Dark and Lonely was done really well. It was a really engaging way to tell that story, and it let you see the secrets and the motivations of both sides without over-hashing exactly what was going on. So that was really good. Reason number 3 is the sexism or misogyny is overwhelming. This is often the case for books where the author is sexist or misogynistic, and not where the character is. I really enjoy reading books where the characters have flaws, and those flaws can be sexism or misogyny, but I don't like seeing it applied over and over again. So for example, if a character is brutish and strong and can't show emotion, and over the course of the book he doesn't learn anything, name of the wind, then I'm not interested in reading more about that character. I like my characters to be flawed, but for the world around them to recognize that flaw and seek to correct it. You know what I mean? I've heard of a mythical book where the character is like this, the main character is a massive sexist ass, and he's exactly like that shouting guy in Dunkin' Donuts or wherever it was. No, Big Boss Bagels? Boss Bagels. Okay, clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. It's this one. But the characters around him don't react in that way. You know, they don't react as though that's perfectly fine and normal. They're often telling him off, or the women will always have a chair between them and him, things like that in the world that tell you that the author knows it's not okay. You don't get that with all books, let me tell you. So while it can be done well, it is so hard to do that well. And it's the same with every kind of ist character, right? If you need to make a character racist or homophobic, please, for the love of God, make your world kind of like punish that behavior, or at least correct it in some way so that the character grows, or at least so the reader knows that you yourself are not a racist, homophobic asshole. Reason number 4 follows on from this, and it is questionable sexual encounters. Now this includes cheating. I cannot read about cheating. It is a major trigger for me. There are a couple of books where this is done well, and it's usually a relationship that neither character wanted. But I don't think there's any excuse for it in the real world, and it really sucks as a plot device. That's all I'm saying. Obviously, cheating happens in the real world, and people can be cheated upon and cheat, but I don't think that the main romantic interest should be a cheat, even if the other partner is cheating. Wow, I said cheat a lot. Cheat. But yes, so cheating is a massive thing, but also following on from this, the sexual, assault. It can be done really badly. I read a book recently where a manager told an employee to take all of their clothes off in the workplace, and that was considered a mutual sexual experience. See, I think it's just when sexual violence is masqueraded, especially sexual coercement, is masqueraded as a way for both characters to get what they want, and that's a huge trigger for a lot of people, and it just icks me the hell out, and I had to DNF that book, and actually I returned it because I was like, I don't want to pay the author money for this. This is actually that bad. I think I only read chapter 3, so don't come at me. Finally, number 5 is actually not a reason I DNF a book, but it is a reason I DNF a series, and I have to do this quite a lot, I found. If the first book in a series does not supply a satisfactory ending, I'm not going to finish that series because you've broken the entertainment contract between the author and the reader. There has to be some kind of finale. I have to feel like the book has finished. I can't finish the book and then nothing. And yes, there are cliffhangers. I mean, again, A Curse So Dark and Lonely is a good example of a cliffhanger. It's a bad example of a cliffhanger at the same time because I don't agree with what she did there. I think it was done very clumsily, but besides the point. A City of Brass is a really good example of a cliffhanger and of a book that manages to wrap up everything, and you feel, see, I'm getting chills just thinking about City of Brass, let's be real. So you feel like everything is wrapped up and then suddenly there isn't, but you still feel that satisfaction of what happened because, you know, the author knew what they were doing and had a storyline with several ups and downs, and you feel fulfilled by the story. Whereas even with a cliffhanger, which makes you want to read more, you still feel like the first book had an ending. I've found, especially a lot of indie books I read fail to do this because a lot of the time they've transformed it into a series because the book was getting too long and they don't have a really good midpoint, or they don't have a really good place to end it, so you end up ending it on a midpoint, which feels really icky. So that's definitely one to watch out for if you are a writer writing a series. Make sure that each of your books has an ending and you resolve whatever tension was raised in that book while also, you know, adding to the series tension. I guess that will be another video, I think, because if I'm going to give advice on series, I should write a few first, but for me as a reader, if you haven't finished the first book, I can't be asked to read the rest. Alright, so that is the 5 reasons that I will put down a book that I'm reading and sometimes even enjoying up to that point. Usually I'm not, though. By the time I put it down, I've usually given up enjoying it. Why do you put down a book? Please let me know in the comments down below, or make a video response to this video. I'm really intrigued to hear a lot of different opinions to see if any of us agree or disagree, and so please, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Pop them down in the comments down below, or if you never DNF, write that too. This Sunday I'll be showing off my stitching collection, so I'll actually be talking about my Victorian and spinster life that isn't books, that is just stitching. So if you're interested in seeing what I do in my spare time and what I'm currently working on, then hit that subscribe button to make sure that you're notified when that video releases. And I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a great cup of tea and an awesome book that you're going to lose yourself in.